right, good people's back at you with our other crypto friend, YBIT and BITO. So what is happening? Well, YBIT, the good news is they've been collecting money because they have a synthetic way out, right? Like over $10 above where they are. So every time they put on a buy, call, sell, put, they collect a bunch of money, but there's the paper liability. So usually collecting income's not that hard, but we want to see them catch up and do well. They're not yet capped, but they're pretty close. And with any kind of FOMO on this crypto conference, we definitely could get run by. But so far, so good. So let's take a look deeper. So what happened? BITO was up 1.44 and we were up 2.73. Again, we're not capped currently. Our capping starts at 24 and 24.50 with 4 more trading days, and we're at 23.88. Now, they put that on some days ago. I mean, they went out like 9 trading days um, when they wrote the 24 and 24.50, right? They were on 7/16. So then 17, 18, 19. So they put it on a Tuesday and went Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now they've gone Monday and we haven't hit it, but we're getting close. So the odds are that we go past it before we're done. But our synthetic, although it's not up at the strike price like a Coney or a Misty where it's 1 for 1, as long as we don't blow by it, we should be okay. So there was 25,000 shares that were bought into it. They didn't put any trades on. Again, the only trade on the 7 funds that I cover were in GDX, and I did that one first. But there was some buying into Coney, and there's a little bit of buying into YBIT here. All right, let's go look at the weekly. So there's where this 24,555 contracts set, right? Very close to the 24 with 4 trading days. 2.6% out of the 2450. So as a reminder, this was up, whoops, and we were up 1696. So that's positive. Volatility is certainly rising some, and you'd expect that with crypto. I haven't updated the chart for a while, but think about where we are. We're almost at the 24 mark. Um, and I said a lot of times you get, resistance down here. And sure enough, there were 2 or 3 days that we were trading to below 20 and everybody was panicking, right? Everybody was like, my average price is this, I'm down. Is this thing going to reverse split? And, it looks a little better. I mean, 17 will look really nice, right? I mean, it's all kind of relative. We've had 2 payments of $1.37 and $1.21, so there's 258. So if you bought it at 20, you're only about 40 cents under considering your payments. Um, so if Bitcoin does what Bitcoin should do and we go to a new all-time high and further, then this fund will be, $25 plus. Now, one of the things I wanted to show you guys on holdings, I want to do the whole holdings, but I went and got this data. I had it in another file. So just as a reminder, everybody, I tell you guys it's difficult with BITO being the underlying. And in some defense to YIELDMAX, the history of this fund, look at this. So it's paid $6.82 over the last 5 payouts. March through July, and it pays like on the 1st, right? Sometimes it actually, well, I should say the ex-dividend date is always typically the first day of the month, unless it's a weekend. So sometimes it actually pays later than we do. It'll have like a March 31st declaration. It'll have an ex-dividend of April 1, and then it won't pay till April 5th or something. So it always pays in that first week, and it almost always has its ex-dividend on the first within a day or two. So the March, that's why July's been paid, right? So March through July, you got 682 for 5 payments. Well, that's almost $1.20 a payment average. It's 18 cents under. So you're talking about $1.17 if I just do the math in my head here. So that's pretty aggressive. Well, it relative to what? Well, relative to the previous 5 payments, right? Somebody care to divide 84? Well, if it was 75 by 5, that would be 15, right? And 9 more is rounded to 2 cents. So you're talking 17 cents versus $1.17. I'd say they substantially upped their payouts. And it wasn't all just based on the performance. I'm not sure why they decided to pay out more. Now, I know these funds, no matter what, and they're based on the CME, so they don't get capped, number one. When they move, they move. We move and we get capped. But that's true of any YIELDMAX single stock fund. By its very nature, it can get capped, right, on the underlying. But in BITO's case, they don't get capped. But what they do, they have to recover from distributions just like YBIT does, right? So if they're 23.88, well, if they paid tomorrow and it was $1.20, then they're going to open at 268 in the pre-market, right? I mean, they have to overcome all that. So when you want to compare BTC and BITO, you have to go and add all their distributions back, and then they're relatively the same. May vary slightly. So I just wanted, and then the previous 5 months, and then there were 3 more months. So they've had 18 payouts, right? And here's that data in case you want to see where I got it from. So these are the and you see the pennies up here, 503111676, right? This is just rounding it to 2 digits. So I got actual numbers. I got it from the website. I already had it from the website. You noticed I didn't fill in. I didn't have these dates, so I didn't go back and get it. It doesn't really matter. What matters is how much did they pay. Um, So that's what we have. And I just thought it was useful information for you guys to know that the fund wasn't planning on that. They were operating on these kind of payouts when they submitted and then they got approved and then they launched and then they saw these payments going up. So obviously they adjusted how they write their calls, but also at the same time, it just makes it a little harder um, to work through. And people start saying, hey, BITO's a better deal. Well, yeah, BITO is a better deal if it keeps on paying like this. But at the time, I remember, when I bought it was like 30 or something. And I just bought a few hundred shares, and I was around this time frame, and I was thinking, oh, and it pays a dividend. Hey, I like that. It's not very much, but I like that being close tied to BTC on the CME future. And then all of a sudden, I started getting 73 cents and $1.14. I was like, what? They've never paid anything close to that. Look at that, 66 cents, 43, 42. 7, how about 1, 7, 14, 13, and 15? I mean, they don't even add up to 73. I mean, it's just, so whatever they're doing, they're choosing to pay out a lot more. Okay, guys, I don't, whoops, this is my sheet. I forgot I put it inside. All right, so we see where we are. How we doing on this, on the holdings in the synthetics? All right. So 1696 is what they're saying fair value is, or it's what, sorry, I always mess this up. 1696 is the actual close data. This is considered fair value because it's the calculated NAV, net asset value, right? You add up all the holdings and divide by the number of shares. 25,000 shares added, 0.71, not much. All right, here is our synthetic. So it's going down slowly because we're ebbing up a little bit. We're getting a little bit higher. Every little bit helps. So we've gone from 32.6 to 31.1 to 29.3 to 28.4 million. Last 4 trading days. Okay, how we doing on these? Well, we're still behind, right? Because we're getting close, but what does that tell you about the premium, right? You got 4 trading days where 12 cents below this, right? 23.88, and yet it's worth 61 cents. And when we sold it, I think we got 29 cents. Or sorry, we got 39 cents on this one and 29 cents on this one. So we're almost not quite double behind, right? So if this thing stays here, which again, I'm not very optimistic with this Bitcoin conference this week, but let's see, seeing stranger things. So right now, the 824,000 that we collected, we'd have to pay 1.2, but a fair amount is time premium, right? There's only, well, I take that back, only 12 cents of that technically. No, it's the other way. It's only 12 cents. And no, there's no premium. Geez, I got myself turned around. All 61 cents is time premium because we're not there. Now, the minute we get at 24, then you know exactly what time premium is. But in this case, it's all time premium because we haven't even gotten to 24. And that's why this is 20 cents less, right? Because it's got another 50 cents out there. Okay, guys, so that's what I got. Let's go to payouts. And this is where we are. The good news is we collect money like crazy. Well, how do we do that? Well, look at this, right? Every time we write a call, because look at where we are. We're $11 underneath this. So we don't get dollar for dollar on the way up because we're so far below it. But we collect money by buying a call and selling a put. So I think the remedy of this is write $3 or $4 out, especially when it looks like we're transitioning into a bull market for Bitcoin. But let's see, maybe it's just a pop, with the news and the conference and the speakers, and then it's going to go back down again. Let's see. Okay. So the good news is I don't see there's any way that we don't get our dollar. But remember, depends on where we are here. So $1.06 would yield 75 cents based on the current price. Well, 75% IV, right? Yielding annually. So I could see us in the $1.10 range. Just depends on what our closing price. They've kept us around 80 to 81% on the annualized yield. So I don't see any reason since they've collected the cash. Yeah, there's paper liability, but they have collected the cash. Okay, guys, that's what I got. You got to be happy if you were seeing 14 or 15. Let me see on another chart what the low is. I know it's been in the 15. Oh, yeah, it looks like high 14s, at least 15. It was below 15, but I don't know that it closed below 15. So this is almost 17, right? That's 12.5% move up. And it definitely filled a gap. Okay, guys, again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Have a great week. All right, bye for now.